Hey everyone, it's Ryan from Rocky Mountain Cigar Show here at the Smokin' Studios, back for another live Thursday night show. Got a great guest in studio, or not in studio. He was supposed to be in studio, but he's flying out for like 10 events over the next few days. This guy is flying off the charts inside the cigar world. His cigars are selling out pretty much most of the locations that he is going to. And right now, Arizona is very hot for him. So if you are going to be in the areas of the Yard, which is also a collaboration of Zeal Cigars, well, you know what? We'll let him explain a little bit more about it. Just some quick show maintenance before we get to the sponsorship shout outs. If you are going to be in the Colorado area on July 26th of 2024, please, we would love to have you attend our charity event that we are doing. It is called Rocky Mountain Cigar Night Charity Fund. You can find tickets on eventbrite.com, and it's a great event. Sagrado is a main sponsor of the event, main supporter of the event from year one. Actually, that's how John and I met. Go to eventbrite.com and you can just search Rocky Mountain Cigar Night, and you will find out all the information about it. But last year, we were able to raise $30,000 for a wounded warrior to get a dog. Essentially, the group bought a dog for a wounded warrior last year. And in doing such, we are going to be presenting the dog to the wounded warrior, or I should say not wounded warrior, but to the vet this year. At the event, we also have some really killer additional stuff that we're not sharing that will be a surprise, but I promise you it is going to be incredible. A few people are privy. John can attest if when he comes on. So outside of that, big show sponsors, shout outs to BAMF Cigars, ROCF Cigars, Kristoff Cigars, Karen Berger Cigars, Sagrado Cigars. As this is going to be a sponsored show tonight, Sagrado will be the banner on the show. There will be no additional scrolling banners as any of the sponsors that come on get featured and no additional sponsors are shown. We've got New Air Humidors, Micallef Cigars, Big Sky Cigars, Cornell and Diehl Pipe Tobacco, La Laura Cigars, West Tampa Tobacco. Also, Steve, the big guy himself, Steve Saka over at Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, big supporter of the show, as well as the big man, Abe, over at smokin.com. Tonight, we are going to be drinking, or I will be drinking, the Axe and the Oak Rye, bottled right here in Colorado Springs. If you've never had Axe in the Oak, it is the best Colorado has to offer. I drank it for years before they ever became part of the show in partnership, and I reached out to them because I liked their stuff so much. It's also started by 5 friends, and they're all huge cigar guys. So enough about that. Nobody really cares to continue to listen to me talk here by myself. I always feel weird without the guest on anyways, right? Kevin's really good at that. I'm absolutely terrible at that. You know, John, I got to say, everybody knows who you are at this point. You're a staple on the show. So I'm going to jump right into it. It feels so awkward to sit here and do an intro and I'm just talking. Like I'm watching myself and my mouth move. It's awkward feeling. It's like you're talking in the mirror.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't know if you talk to yourself, but I usually when I talk to myself, I'm not looking at myself. I know, right? Really nice shirt, Bruce. How you doing, Marshall? Josh, how you doing, brother? So Josh is actually newer to watching the show and became a big fan of the show. Was sent me one of the most kind, most generous mail bomb drops that I've ever received from anybody. Super grateful for that. But since Josh says that he's never actually heard of Sagrado, well, John, let's go ahead and introduce him. Tell him what you guys are all about. Tell him how to, well, you know, you guys could go to the featured online store to get Sagrado on this show is zealcigars.com. They're not sponsored, not affiliated. Brad's a good friend. Abe doesn't sell Sagrado, so to point you all in the right directions, go to zealcigars.com. They have the entire lineup of Sagrado cigars. But anyways, John, go ahead and give Josh the full breakdown of the company.
Absolutely. Well, Josh, it's a pleasure to meet you. And Ryan, again, thanks again for hospitality and opportunity to talk about the brand and have some fun here tonight.
Absolutely.
Tonight, so there's no surprise. I hang out a bit with a certain Canadian up in Canada. So I thought just for all my Canadian friends I've been making up there, I've got a. So what do we call this in the United States? What's this called?
A hat.
Well, we call it beanies, right? We call it beanies.
A beanie. Well, see, I thought the beanie didn't have the reservoir tip. See, I thought the beanie was just the smooth hat that went down. Maybe I'm wrong. That's what I would call like a winter hat.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. So I learned the last 2 years, through Natalie, that it's called a toque. So if you go up to Canada, you want something to keep your head warm. It's called a toque, T-O-K or Q-U-E, toque.
Oh, right? Okay.
I look at that, I say, no, that's toque. Like you're in a toke a joint or something, It's but no, it's we learned recently that in North Carolina they're called toboggans. So enough of that. But anyway, so business. We've been around for this is our 3rd year in business. We started the business during COVID in 2021 and started developing blends out of Dominican Republic. Worked with the master cigar blender there. He's Cuban. He was 25 years plus experience, and ski hat. Thanks, Ronnie. So we worked with him at the initial heritage blends we've got for our Connecticut, our Habano, our Maduro. Those are all his. And so again, what I learned when I got in the business was, I didn't know how much I didn't know until I got into it. I realized how much I did know. Now, 3 years later, I'm more knowledgeable, and I realize I really don't know shit. So
actually, to touch on that really quick, because you make a really good point. You didn't know, and you're in sales. You've been in sales most of your life, so you have no problem saying, I don't know what I don't know, but I'll figure it out for you. That's kind of just in our repertoire of a comeback or an objection handle. So you went into this not knowing a whole lot. You are much more skilled. You are much more knowledgeable in the tobacco world now. Do you have more questions today than you did back then?
Oh yeah, like 1,000 more now. I mean, it's, really, a lot of my learning right now is really to the leaves, the pairings of the leaves, how they blend together. The thing is with these master blenders, they don't tell you everything. It's all secret. Like unless they're like on your payroll, directly. Directly working for you like that. They'll tell you the wrapper, the binder, the tarifa, the filler, more or less, but there's always like some mystery tobacco with it. They won't tell you because that's the secret sauce, So for me, that's why I've been spending a lot of time tasting different leaves by themselves. The Campudos, I just pure cigar. Like I'll have it like a San Andres. How does San Andres taste by itself? Roll it up, smoke it. What's a jalapa taste like? What's a Habano 2000 taste like? And if I equate this to cooking, if anyone has any time in the kitchen, which I'm sure 99.9% of people on this have, what salt, pepper, what basil, what oregano, all these things, and that if you add too much or too little, the results are not spectacular. And cigars are very much like that. Whiskey, wine, they're all about blending and learning and knowing varietals and aging and fermenting. I was just talking to a gentleman, about a week ago at the Smoking Cave, and very knowledgeable. In fact, he's the one that built the humidor for Sean and so on. Great dude. You know,
Oh, I can't think of his name.
yeah. So he
John,
helped Sean
right?
move from next door to like to that place, right?
Wasn't it John?
I think so. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't remember his name. Super nice guy. We ended up talking
yeah.
about chili peppers. He likes hot shit too, so I do too. So we're talking about that. I got stories of that in Canada of all places too. But no, the guy is super knowledgeable. You know, growing plants. So we got really into it, and we talked about again the processes and what he learned really is, and this is what kind of surprised me. I never heard this. The fermenting, just how difficult that fermenting process is, and as he was learning how many plants he lost, of leaves, to get where they weren't too wet, they weren't too dry. They're just like the three little bears, Goldilocks, just right. But that's to say, the only way you learn this business is just getting out there in the street, talking to people, and keep your mouth shut and just listening and learning.
Absolutely. And so as you've been kind of going through this journey, you've been able to kind of set aside some OG cigars, and you've been able to kind of come back to them.
Yeah.
So since I perfectly brought in that segment, we are going to go to the only sponsored segment, or the only, I should say, segment, which is the "What Are You Smoking Tonight?" sponsored by Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. So, John, what are you smoking tonight? And tell us why it's special.
So this guy here, you'll never find it on the shelf. At least you'd be hard pressed to find it. This is our original, combo, ring band where it was married together. You know, typical paper like most people use. It wasn't like the wine stock we use today. But this guy here, it just blows me away. It's our La Chispa. La Chispa replaced the name of Fundacional, and we had a name change. And La Chispa, which is much easier. Ryan, even you can say La Chispa. Come on,
La,
La
La,
Chispa.
La Chispa. I can
La
when
Chispa.
you say it, but if it was in front of me written, nope.
But
La Chispa.
Fundacional, that was an MF. That was a tough one, right?
Yeah, Fundacional.
Yeah,
It's all Spanish. All Spanish is hard to me. Most English
it,
is too.
you nailed it. You nailed it. You got it. Finally, you get rid of the name, and now you got it. But yeah, La Chispa is this one, and this is a natural. It's a Habano, and so surprisingly, we have the exact same blend today. And this was made a little over 3 years ago when we were just, forming everything together. And our very first cigar, this is the one that we went out in the market, handed out to people, and said, "What do you think?" People that knew stuff about cigars, people that didn't know stuff, people like me that have been smoking cigars since they're 16 but still didn't know shit. They just like smoke cigars. Wasn't really into it. You look at Cigar Aficionado from time to time, and I don't know if that's a great place to learn, but but yeah. So this cigar was the first, and it was proven that people liked it. And what we get from a lot of people is this very Cuban-esque, which, duh, I mean, our guy's Cuban, so that's what you expect. But this thing, I'll tell you what, the thing I want to share about this one cigar is the tobacco now is about 5-6 years old in this baby. It's been aging, and holy shit, we did good. I mean, the ones you buy today, I tell you, it's 3-year-old tobacco in the La Chispas you buy today. Buy those. You can smoke them today. It's so good. I got Bradley that swears by them. It's a good Habano. I'll tell you what, man. You put that thing on the shelf for a couple of years, it's like an $18, $20 stick. It's really good.
Well, you also have quite the lineup of cigars that you have put out in the last several years, 3 years. You
Yeah,
have what could be, depending on how quick you smoke, a 30-minute to 50-minute
yeah,
ugly stick.
Yeah, Faithos.
Feitos. You have that in Connecticut and Maduro. Those are
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic.
Suave.
Yeah, Suave. You have the Anniversario.
Yeah, we have a
You
new
have.
Anniversario.
Go ahead, tell us about it.
Oh, we got a brand new 2023 Anniversario that hit the streets, and we got plenty of stock on those. It's so we'll talk about Anatoly, which we like reverse order, but this thing is the essence of Anatoly. It's the same wrapper, Sumatra, binder, Corojo, and then filler Seco Cubano inside of it, and it's a delicious cigar. It has a couple broadleaf Lajero, Pennsylvania broadleaf Lajero specifically, and I don't know, I think that's my favorite Lajero is the Pennsylvania broadleaf. It's got a lot of good body to it. It's not bitter. It's delicious.
Well, I haven't tried that new Anniversario yet. I'm looking forward to trying it. I've had the older one,
yeah.
the previous one. Oh, I know you do, man. You always do. You're too kind. I love your stuff. In fact, and I know I'm sure people have heard the story when you've been on before, but if you haven't, the first time that John reached out to me out of the blue to be part of Rocky Mountain Cigar Night. Had no idea who he was, never heard of Sagrado. We decided, I think we met like 2 weeks later, and we were 4 or 5 hours.
And we fell in love with each other over this.
Yeah, we ended the night in tears and hugs and I love yous and no. But in all seriousness, John and I had a great night. We went through almost an entire bottle. It was fantastic. And we became very fast friends. So fast forward, I've had the pleasure of trying his stuff and actually have watched John grow through this crazy world that a lot of people think is very simple and easy. And I think John, to an extent, maybe came in going, oh, this isn't going to be super hard. And then he's been actually humbled in many ways and brought to bear with knowledge, and he has garnered more knowledge. So like I've watched him grow up in the cigar industry from pretty much day one of you starting this, or within a few months or so. So it's been a lot of fun watching you pick up on everything, watching, every time we talk, there's always something new. And now I'm actually learning from you, which is awesome. I love that, because that means it is not just a hobby, but it is a lifestyle for you, even though this is not currently, will be someday the way you're growing, probably sooner than later, you're full-time. Oh, what the heck? My phone just hit the fade to black button on my A10 Mini. There was no issues, anybody. Nobody has to make a comment. I understand the show's had technical issues in the past. But anyways, so it's been so much fun watching your knowledge gain. And on top of that, it's been even more fun watching you expand. I think when you came on originally, the first time, you were in 15 shops, maybe.
Not even that. I was just in a couple shops.
Was it? And now you're international, right?
And we got thanks to Natalie.
Well, of course, she's definitely the brains of everything.
So she came in, we've been friends and we've been dating for a while, and so she asked me, she said, hey, how would you like me to help you? So she came in. I said, because even when I asked her how she get into it, I said, well, I asked John if he wants some help. That's kind of how she got into it. She ended up taking hold of it, and really proud of her. She's really learned a lot, and she embraced. She took these tobacco university. Yeah, obviously. Yeah. Thanks, Nat. That's probably true though. But yeah, she's the first female.
Thank you so much, guys.
The licensed tobacconist sommelier in Canada. Hey.
Yes, so you sent her through Sisters of the Leaf.
Yeah, Sisters of the Leaf, Tobacco University, and she's on a very friendly basis with Anastasia, talking on a regular basis. In fact, I'm going to see both of them, Lefty and Anastasia, on a Saturday night in Phoenix. So they've moved out there, and
Oh,
we'll be hanging out.
oh,
Yeah,
they moved out. I gotta get a hold of Lefty. I haven't talked to Lefty in a few months. I didn't know they
yeah,
left Chicago.
he's a great dude.
Oh,
Yeah, really good dude.
Lefty's
Love Lefty.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Anastasia is still one of my highest watched shows.
yeah, yeah. She was amazing.
So as you're kind of going over the last 3 years, and where do you find that you are most interested in the process at this point? And let me clarify the question a little bit more. Are you more interested on the manufacturing, rolling, growing, intricacy of the blending, or does the sales interest you more, the shops, the events? Where are you finding your sweet spot?
Yes.
Okay, so a little bit of everything. If you had the ability to bring in like a full sales team 15 years down the road, and now you're kind of sitting back looking over your empire, where would you focus your time? Would you be still wanting to do more of the events, or would you, because I think I know where I would guess you to be at, but where would you see yourself at?
Yeah, I mean that's a good question. I mean, I honestly, whew, you know, I'd have to say for me, it'd be more of looking at globally, at the company and relationships, and making sure the culture of our company is staying intact. Like we have investors in our company, and culture means everything for people that I allow to invest in the company. Just because everyone's got to be able to fit that culture. I like diversity in the company. So I like people who question, and we have no yes people in our business. Everyone contributes. Everyone's respectful. It's just we've got such a harmony of people that work with us, and that's what we want to be able to project outwardly to the public, to our clients, to our business partners, and our competitors. I mean, our competitors really love our competitors, are friends. So we want to project that outward of being inclusive, and being kind, and being a good company, but chasing that carrot from good to great all the time. Always striving to make great. Just not to be great just to be great, but to be great because we have a promise and a commitment to our customers that we will provide the best that we can possibly do, that we will give it our all, and we won't stop. We will continue to reinvent ourselves and grow with the market.
Well, I see you when your empire is big enough that you could just kind of sit back and look. I see you moving to the DR. I see you. I see you with a cabana in a backyard somewhere for a house that you own, with nothing but like either short sleeve or sleeveless shirts with the button and only half of it buttoned up. Cigar in your mouth, never leaving the DR, really sitting in the factory and just blending, learning that craft, fine tuning that craft. That's where I honestly see you when your ability for the company allows that. I see you in the factory, head down, just enjoying life, drinking your fancy rum all over the DR, taking a rickshaw home. I don't know if they have those there or not. People that run with the stuff.
Now
I
they
don't
they,
know. I've
they
never
have
been there.
moto taxis,
Oh,
motorcycle
the
taxis. There's
motorcycle
like
taxi.
families of 5 on those.
Yeah, this is where, like, and then you've got your coffee surround. Yeah, for those of you also that don't know, Sagrado is more than cigars. Sagrado is very much kind of a lifestyle brand in the way that it's being structured as of now. I mean, he's got tobacco, he's got spirits coming out, he's got cigars. Cigars are the main passion. And then coffee follows closely behind, and then obviously spirits, but it's he's building himself a nice little spot to where he could just go in one country that does everything and not leave and be surrounded by coffee and tobacco and rum and tequila and everything else. I mean, that's where I see you, John. I don't see you in the States.
Yeah, I guess that'll be a conversation with Natalie, myself, eh?
Hey, I can also tell you right now, if that was a reality, Natalie's packing her bags already. She's like, it's -10 up here. We're getting out of here. We're going to where it's always warm.
We have to realize -10 is -10C, so it's still positive for us.
That's true. That's true. I don't know what Celsius to Fahrenheit is.
Yeah.
So are you doing any events this year, the big events, the TPEs, the PCAs, the BCA or whatever?
Yeah, you know what? We talked about that internally about it. Yeah, we put a lot of thought into it for, gosh, probably 3 months. And we looked at really what our goals were for this next year. Swami Mechanic, if somebody's called me. Right on.
Josh, go to zealcigars.com right now.
He's got them in stock. He's going to have them at the buddy event tomorrow.
Place the order. You will get them. I think at Zeal, you could order a 5-pack or a box. So definitely go to Zeal. Yeah. They've got and honestly, if you like something with a little bit punchiness to it, but it's a little bit shorter, a little thinner, the Lilith is absolutely out of this world.
Yeah. Yeah. It's beautiful. Packed ready to go, Natalie. Nice sense. Yep.
There you go. Thanks, Josh. Thanks for buying the sampler.
Yeah. So where were we?
About the PCA.
Oh yeah. So anyway, so we talked about that, and we reflected on last year's show that we did. We did that with with another group that consolidated people, and anyways, we just evaluated everything, just our go-to-market strategy for this year, and we made changes, and we decided that we we're going to put more of our efforts into beating the street. Natalie is pounding Atlanta. She just got back from Atlanta last weekend, and she's like, "Holy shit, there's a lot of stores over here. It's over 300 stores to just Atlanta alone. Mm-hmm. That's not even Georgia. That's just Atlanta." Mm-hmm. And so she's basically going to be living there, like weekend by weekend. So all of her travel, she has quite a bit of travel this year, really. She'll be living out of a suitcase like I've been doing for 35 years. But she'll be going there, and she's having success. She got someone open up. She has some other people on the hook that look like they're open up, and she's to continue. And then she goes into Cam Newton's cigar lounge, who's buying from some distributor out there, mostly heritage, like Fuentes, Padrones, blah blah blah, And so, anyways, he's got to go to boutiques, but good meeting out there. And so she doesn't meet Cam Newton. So she's at the airport flying out, on Sunday, I guess it was, and guess who was in security line with her? Cam Newton. So she got a picture. If you go to our Instagram, you'll see it. You'll see her post with Cam, and I didn't realize how big that guy is until you see a picture of her next to him. He's huge.
Oh,
he's
really?
A beast. Yeah, he's a big dude. So yeah, but yeah, so she's so we decided that we're going to focus on that market. I'm focused on the Arizona market. I'll be then transitioning also my time into the Texas market. So I mean, for me to fly to Texas or Arizona, it's only like an hour and a half, 2 hours to get to Austin, Dallas, Houston, all those areas. It's easy for me. Phoenix is a hop, skip, and a jump. Big markets. The market in Arizona is tremendous as well. Not the size of Atlanta, but it's big.
Yeah.
So we're focusing our efforts into these stores, and here's why. I've been in sales a long time, like you. And if you've ever been to a trade show, it's speed dating. It's speed dating. You don't build a relationship, and by the time those poor customers who are exhausted, they get to you, this little boutique. they spent their credit card. It's maxed out over at Padron, you know. And so we said, you know what? Let's give it a year or two. Let's build up our stores and our loyal filing, and then when we go to PCA or TPE, you know, then we've got a large following of people that actually want to come hang out with us and go do events, maybe, you know, go out parties, go do stuff, you know. So you know, that's what we're doing now. We're doing grassroots. We're building it up. We're doing a, you know, podcast. We have our own podcast weekly now, where we're spending this month in February of get to know John and Nat. We want people to see us, our craziness and character, and just, you know, what we do, where we're going, what's going on, new stuff coming, you know. And we keep it to 30 minutes. It's short, it's done, and we're off to the next one, you know. And then we, like you, Ryan, we did this week. I've been on 2 podcasts with you and with Joe, the Evil Empire in Appleton, Wisconsin. Joe, thank you, great host, thank you. You know, and Natalie was on with me on that one. So, you know, we're trying to be on at least minimum 4 of those podcasts a month externally, just to build the awareness of people. Because like Joshua that came on tonight, you know, don't know Sagrado Cigars. You know, and our goal is to introduce, because once you try our cigars, chances are you're going to smoke another one.
And now he bought a 5-pack. So now I can also tell Brad somebody bought a 5-pack.
Yeah, absolutely. And you, my friend, you were my very first podcast. First podcast with you.
Yes. And the very first podcast, you were here in studio.
In studio.
You were my very first in studio guest as well.
Yeah.
So we both popped each other's cherries.
And we did.
I love that scene in Goodfellas when Henry Hill comes out of the courthouse and Paulie Savino's standing there. Hey, you popped your cherry. No, it was. We have developed a very close relationship, not just through the show, but personally. And you know, it's been, you've been at my home, you've eaten over here. You know, it's been a lot of fun getting to know you over the past years. I mean, I consider you family.
Yeah,
and you know, you're somebody that I bounce ideas off of, and in personal life and business life. And so for sure, this has been an absolutely fantastic friendship partnership that we've both done. And on top of it, you also have been with our charity event since year 1.
Yeah.
That I like to think, because it got 100 of your cigars in Colorado, that allowed you to grow to several shops.
Yeah.
And one of your a couple of them are doing amazing out here in Colorado. So from year 1, under 10, 15, somewhere in there, now what is your count? How many shops are you in?
I think I know we're approaching 50. I mean, we're approaching the 50, you know, range. I know Natalie's opened up some more. We just opened up a new store in Canada, Torch, I believe it's called. And Natalie Kamei posting, it's called Torch. And Natalie can post. We had, you know, one of the stores in Atlanta. We got more out there. So I think we're approaching 50. Our goal, you know, this year is to be able to hit at least 100 stores, get opened up. And we're not looking for, you know, just stores. We're looking for the right stores that, you know, are supportive of boutiques, and stores that will support us, and stores that will allow us to support them, you know, as well. It's mutual.
So you are in Alaska. You're in multiple states. What is your growth plan? Because it really primarily is you and Natalie. So what is your growth plan over this next year? When could people say, I want to see you in my shop?
Well, you know, like you say, if you're a shop in Georgia, you know, absolutely, you get on a list with Natalie. She'll come see you. You know, Arizona, same thing for me. Texas, because I've got 3 stores open up in Texas, but I there's more than 3 stores in Texas, as we know. another big tobacco region.
3 stores on 1 block.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it? The 4 big states: PA, Florida, Texas, Arizona for cigars.
Yeah.
Those are the 4 major states. And you're doing incredible in Arizona. So tell everybody what event you have doing this week, in case anybody in Arizona is watching.
Yeah, thank you. We got 2 events. This is the second time doing events. First time Natalie and I went out there. We had like 3 events, and we did reasonably well. So tomorrow night, our mutual good friend Bradley, Reith with Zeal. So we're doing a collaboration with a brewery, and it's a really good brewery. It's in Tempe, and so this brewery is called the Shop Beer Company, SHOP Beer Company. If you're in Arizona, I know Arizona Jim's gonna be there. I don't know if you watched this show. We just watched this the other night with Empire. He's gonna be there, but so we're gonna be doing that one tomorrow. I think it's like 5 to 8 or something like that. I'll have cigars. Brad's got a bunch of cigars to bring. You should see it. He did a video. I think it was yesterday before, and the patio is beautiful. They love outdoor seating for smoky cigars. Beautiful weather, great beer, and here's the cool thing. Okay, JB and him, they were doing a pairing with the beers, and it's hilarious. JB did. He's kind of like you can't say when you're drunk you're pissed. He was, I guess, pissed. He was drinking these beers. They were pairing up, and there's this one that Bradley was talking about, had like an orange type of a flavor to it, and he said that thing, it was absolutely ridiculous with Lilith, which made sense. I mean, we're talking about a Sumatra, we're talking about Lord Dominicano, we're talking about Seco Cubano in this thing, and I mean, Sumatra goes great with citrus, and sweetness. It's so we'll have fun. We're gonna have fun with the beers. I'm excited about the beer pairings with the cigars, so that's Friday night, and so Saturday I'll just be visiting stores, and then I'll be seeing folks from Sisters of the Leaf Global, 7:00 to be announced where we're going to be, and then on Sunday, what's the big event on Sunday that us Americans all look forward to?
Presidential debate.
You're watching too much news.
Yeah, the Super Bowl, of course.
Super Bowl. There we go. Super Bowl. Which I don't have a dog in the hunt. Yeah, there we go. There it is. There we go. Oh, craft beer and cigars. Okay, but Shop Beer Company. Exactly. There we are. 4 to 7. I guess I was off on my time zone.
No,
Colorado time. It's 5:00. No, it's not. It's the same time.
No,
they're Mountain Time
we're
right now
the
too.
same time zone. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
now. We're the only one that changes. It's Arizona and one other state that doesn't change.
Hawaii and Arizona. Yeah. All right, so that's Friday night. Then Sunday we're going to be with a really cool company, Brick and Mortar. The owner Eric, cool guy. This team, they're great. He's an ex-cop from out there. Love the guy. And anyways, it's called The Yard. And it's funny. I worked with cops a lot, from the technology side for 30 years. And it's funny. You'd be surprised. There's 2 things I've noticed that there's a lot of in this business. A lot of cops who've retired or still doing it and got the cigar business, and there's a lot of people that are pastors.
Yeah,
so that's the two anomalies I've seen. It's like, wow, the cigar, that's pretty cool. So, anyways, the yard, the outdoor, it's way cool. They've got those cornhole, as we say here in Colorado. If you're in the Midwest watching. What do you call it? Bags. All right. I think Canada, you got. I think they call it.
Cornhole just sounds so gross.
They call it bag toss. I think Canada calls it bag toss. Okay. Yeah. Well, there's some other names for that. So yeah. But maybe a cigar nerd can tell us. I think it's bag toss is what she said it's called up there. But anyways, they got that. They have like the big the games, the blocks, that you stack up, and all kinds of stuff. What's that?
Jenga.
Yeah, Jenga.
They got outdoor Jenga. They got the big 2 4 cuts.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
That's
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
awesome.
And then they got the chairs. You got these fires out there to chill, hang out. And what I love about the place, it's very female friendly. It's couple friendly. We saw a lot of couples and stuff. And it's great because that's what it's all about, man. It's all about inclusion and quality and getting everyone out there. Regardless of your gender, your color, whatever you are, you're invited, man, and hang out. Let's have a good time. So we
No,
love that. That's a good vibe there. They have a bar. They have beer. They have wine. You know, it's a good time. Decent humidor as well.
yeah,
So
that's the
about
one.
yeah.
That's the one thing I wish Colorado had more of. Cigar bars. They really don't.
It's grandfathered here. Just cup
Well,
Devins.
I'm not even gonna name the piece of crap that they call a cigar bar in the Colorado Springs. It's not a cigar bar. They've got 2 boxes of cigars covered with an inch of dust. You can't even read the labels, and everybody in there is smoking cigarettes.
Wow.
It's only a cigar bar because they could smoke cigarettes in there as well.
Wow.
If you're going to go to a cigar bar, and if you're going to go to a cigar bar in Colorado, there's only one, and that's Devins in Denver. That's worth going. Shout out to John.
There's another one I walked into. It's called Dainties. Dainties. It's in Aurora. It's had another name. I forget the name. Is kind of a funny name that it changed to, but and it's also it's also a bar and a cigar bar. They have a decent actually humidor there too.
Really? I've never heard of that one. I've only ever heard of Devins, maybe because they're just the biggest. I mean, a lot of events and functions are there.
Yeah, I love John. He's a great dude.
You've held events and functions there.
Yeah, I have. The Cigar Lords.
Cut and Light.
Yeah, I love the Cigar Lords. Shout out to the Cigar Lords. Great dudes. Every time I come in, just hang with them. And I'm originally from LA. I moved here 18 years ago. I'm used to diversity. I'm used to living in that. And I moved to Colorado, and I noticed everyone looked like me. I'm like, that's weird.
Well,
I'm not used to it. I feel more comfortable, more in my home when I see more diversity around me.
Well, of course, and John is, if you can't tell from the background, unwilling to let go of his youth. As everybody can see over his right shoulder, our left in this camera view, John has hung onto a board. So John, we know you're from California, you had just said. So why hang on? When was the last time you were on that board, and why hang on to it?
I was like 18 or 19 last time I was on it, and I was about 50 pounds lighter. So that board, it's a little squirrely as it was when I was 180, 185. I mean that thing, it's fast. It's tri-fin, cuts turns really quick, and
Natalie, 1983.
I think she was barely born about that time. But so I'm a longboarder now. I need like a 7-8 footer now. I think that's like 5'7", 5'8". I can't remember the length on it, but yeah, I get in that thing now. It's gonna sink to the bottom, man. Yeah.
So why hang on to it? Why not, or why not refinish it and hang it up?
Yeah, I might. It's funny because it's moved like 3 times, and I've always been asked, why should you get rid of it? Get rid of it. It's like, nah, it's like I got this old Nissan pickup truck I'm getting ready to get rid of. I've had since the Marine Corps. I used to ride that to base. I'd ride home sometimes on weekends when I wasn't in trouble on office hours. But I guess I'm very sentimental. That's one thing to get to know about me. I'm not really I'm not like a what do you call those people, hoarder? I'm not a hoarder. I'm just sentimental. It's hard for me sometimes to let go, but sometimes it's a cleansing too from when I do let go of stuff. But the board there, I don't know. I know. I don't know. But like maybe my son will take it. He's surfed before. My son surfed. He's never been on that board, but maybe that's something that I'll pass over to the gauntlet to him.
Well, I am deathly afraid of the ocean unless I'm in a boat, and even at that, I'm still pretty nervous of the ocean.
Mm.
The idea of dangling my feet like lures over a surfboard just makes, I don't have any hair on my head, but it makes me grow some for it to stand up.
You know what? Now you got to think about this too, right? I remember when I was, young and boogie boarding. This is, what was it, 76 or something like that when Jaws came out?
Yeah, somewhere there.
Okay. Donna, 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 Donna. Holy shit! I don't even have. I'm bald, so I don't have any hair, but the hair in the back of my head whenever I got standing up, because I never, the first time after I saw the movie, because I was used to going down Beach Boulevard, Southern California, heading over to Huntington Beach, boogie boarding, when they didn't have the black balls because of the riptides and so on. And I remember sitting out there waiting for waves. And I was starting to, I had this quiet time thinking about, Jaws, and about the scene when the shark comes up and it's pulling that girl's leg down. She's, skinny dipping and all of a sudden it cuts her. So then I'm like, ooh, I gotta catch a wave, get in.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, two movies ruined like things for me. It ruined clowns. Not that clowns I ever thought were great, but it just like tipped the mark for clowns. Jaws absolutely destroyed me for the ocean. What sucked is my dad grew up in Ocala, Florida, so I spent most of my life in Florida. And my uncle's in Vero, right next to the ocean, not far from it at least. No, I would sit chest high, and you know what I called chest high? When I would sit down and it was chest high.
Yeah.
And I was good. I was good.
But you know what? It's a good thing that you didn't know the sharks come into that shallow water too.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I stayed there, because I had the best chance of getting the fuck out of the way. Because I'm guaranteed at that depth to see a fin.
Well, I've been scuba diving since I was 16, so I'm a scuba diver too. I love scuba diving. Haven't done it in a while, but I love it. I got NAUI certified, years ago, and I don't even think people get certified anymore with NAUI. PADI is pretty much the dominant, certification. My son got certified at the youngest age. I think he was 10. It was like 10 or 12 when he got certified as a junior diver, and so we've done dives together. So it's that was a fun father-son thing to do.
Yeah, I would absolutely love to go diving. Now, snorkeling for me probably won't work. But I would 100% go in full scuba gear, go down. If I can see what's going to kill me, I'm fine. Okay. It's what I can't see and feeling like I'm just a lure in a big old, shark tank. If I at least go, all right, I'm fucked. But I'm gonna punch you in the nose. I'm good with it.
So let me tell you the scariest thing I ever did scuba diving. One thing I haven't done yet because I get a little bit claustrophobic, and so yeah, well, I didn't know anything about Tukes until I got out. So here I am.
Thanks, Bruce.
A little amazing. That's our top selling cigar from last year, man.
It's incredible. It's incredible. Yeah.
So check this out. So I have gone cave diving. I'm a little bit. I'm a little freaky about getting in confined spaces, right? I've done when I've had to do it, but I don't like it, right? So here's the other thing. I went night diving. And we went out, had a dive master with us with the group, and it was this in Hawaii, and the moon wasn't out. I mean, it was like a quarter moon or something like that, so it was dark. Okay. So we had flashlights, we're using to be able to see. So then he had us all circled together. We all came together. Then we all got on our knees, and then he told us all to turn off our lights. It was pitch black. Holy shit. I mean, there could have been like megadons coming in and like gobbling us all up, and we would have had a chance. You couldn't see shit. It was scary as hell because you're in this place that you're foreign to. You can't see anything. Wow. That was a
Yeah,
coming to
no.
Jesus moment, man.
That sounds like I'm not, a huge Christian myself, but that makes me feel like I'd get down and pray. I am so
Yeah.
claustrophobic.
Yeah, you start learning to pray when you're down there.
I actually watched a thing where I don't know from how long ago it was, but a cave, not a cave diver, but somebody that like squeezes themselves in the tiny spots. What is that called? They go through like a hole like this and they find it fun and they figure out where that hole like this goes. Well,
Oh, no.
he went down and didn't realize that it stopped, and he got stuck like this. One arm down, one arm up. They tried and tried and tried. They had to leave him. Like they had nothing to do.
You know what? Just hearing that, it's just like freaking me out. Just because I can visualize that, and my biggest. That's probably one of my biggest fears is being stuck in a cave or a tight hole or a crevice, something like that. And like that guy that had to take a knife and cut off his arm or his leg to get out.
Yeah, no, that's terrible.
Yeah, so I don't need to do that.
No, so I'm claustrophobic very much so, which is what made me decent at wrestling because I never liked to be stuck down. So I'd like frantically like flail until people just got off of me and I was able to get back up again.
Have you ever did an MRI?
No, gosh, no, I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could do it.
So it's funny. So I've done it. I've had a couple injuries, with the years because I don't realize that my body's older than my excitement, my brain. My brain thinks I'm still 20 years old, So I do the MRI, and they say, would you want like a eye cover, and I'm like, I'm good. So I get in there, and I hear the sounds. So I open up my eyes. I look. I started like freaking out. So I had to close my eyes. And again, it's another one of those things like, please God, please God, please God.
No,
yeah.
I don't think I could. I don't think I could do. I think I would have a hard time at an MRI. Plus, I hear they're super loud.
What's that?
Is that I hear they're super loud.
They have different harmonies, different sounds, and it gets louder because as they are penetrating deeper within your tissues, it has different intensity that you hear.
Yeah, I don't think I could. Yeah, I've heard stories about it. I don't have a hard time on a plane. Where I have a hard time on a plane is if I'm like in the middle. So I always go up to the front counter and go listen.
Yeah.
I need to get in there and get a spot, or else I'm not going to be pleasant. And so they always let me go in there and make sure I get in and everything because I can't do it. But I don't know how you jumped on a giant fish lure and rode it over the ocean as if you were being just waiting for something to grab. Like, to be like, was that ever a thought in your youth? Like, I'm gonna get nailed.
No, because I mean you're a stupid kid. Everyone's doing it, and you're not going to die. You're going to live forever,
Yeah, I don't think I could do it. I like I said, my biggest fear is feeling like I'm a rubber duck in a bathtub. And every single time I go in the ocean, I feel like I'm a toy. Like I'll go in a lake as long as I know I am the biggest predator swimming in that body of water. I'll do it. I'll 100% go in that body of water. My uncle in Vero Beach, there was an alligator caiman farm down the road.
Oh,
And one of them had gotten out and kind of belly crawled itself over to his neighbor's pond. So my uncle goes over there to help the neighbor out. Now, my uncle just goes in there with tiny little short, like 70s bicycle shorts and like a pole with a cable on it. He's rooting around, pulls this thing out. He looks at me and he goes, Ryan, there might be one of these in mine. Never again did I ever step foot in his pond because you can't see to the bottom. And he put that thought in my head. He put the thought in my head. There might be something in it. So that is my rule of thumb. I stay out of any body of water that I am not the biggest thing in. I'll deal with the
fair
turtle.
enough.
But
As long
turtle
as you don't
grabs a
know.
toe. It's long, yeah.
What if you don't?
Like, don't tell me. Like, don't tell me.
Hey, I would love Ryan to share with you a new product that's right now in production and will be hitting the shelves sometime in July when it's you know, past final inspection in June, and July 1st they
Floor's
start shipping to
yours.
the United States.
Floor's yours. Go ahead.
So we create a new blend, and it's with a different factory. And so the reason why we went to the factory is because we were able to get assets, leaves that we couldn't get before, and we're able to get 5-year plus age tobacco. And so that's one of the reasons. The other reason is because the guy he worked at Davidoff as a master blender for 20 years, and so he's very good. He's sharp, little Dominican guy, and I met up with them and the owners of that factory as a startup 3 years ago, and so it's about the same age as mine, you know. And they're just up and running. They got the new factory up, and you know, capacity right now of about you know, 600,000 cigars they can produce in the course of a year.
Wow.
But if they reconfigure it, they can do about 3.5 million cigars a year.
Wow.
So they're scaling, and the quality of what they do, because I got through the process, is they showed me each process as they're making, you know, cigars for me, and I saw some really interesting things that I'd not seen before that they do, extra steps that I've not seen in process. And you know, we've had very good cigars. We've had very good luck with our cigars, and you know, we could sit here and just say we're done, we're good, you know. And but the thing is there's people that have expectations of Padron, you know, and you know, Opus X and some of these others, you know, that they rave over. My Father's, you know, the Le Bijou, which I love that one. And Natalie and I, we both love Nicaraguan tobacco. So I met with these guys and I told them in advance what I want. And I want, because I got all my stuff is medium light. And so I wanted a medium plus and start moving into the full body, you know, realm.
Yes.
Yeah, buddy. Okay. So I'll be go out there probably in April, and I'll be picking up some stuff, and I'll be bringing something back. And I'm going to bring you back with the 770s. So,
Ooh, I'll smoke it if you give it to me, but I'll save it for when you're on the show. I mean, it's gonna be a long show.
maybe a long show. No, no, you know what we'll do? Because we'll save it for the Rocky Mountain show that, you know, your event, the charity event. Smoke it there.
Yes, Rocky Mountain Cigar Night. I love it.
Yeah. So this blend,
Absolutely.
so the final blend, and we went through a couple of tweaks on it, and they nailed it pretty quick. The guy nailed it pretty quick. I didn't have to go through a whole lot of iterations. And so it's a Habano 2000 wrapper,
Okay.
and it started with that, and it ended with that. The binders where we had some changes, and it ended up being a Sumatra. And it's funny just how the different leads, how they play off each other. The fillers Nicaraguan. It's again, all this is 5-year age tobacco. It's out of the gate. And then there's a mystery. When I mentioned about these blenders, there's a mystery leaf in there. I'm suspecting it's Indonesian. I don't know, but it's 4 leaves in that treatment, the filler. It's a Toro that we're coming out with on that. And Natalie's been working with me and all the branding on it, and so we have a name for it. And so the name is called The Promise. I've lost your sound. Can you hear me?
Yeah. When are we seeing this again?
It's called The Promise, and it'll be July is when the boxes hit the States. They'll ship directly to me in Colorado, as always, Denver, and we'll be distributing from there. But The Promise is probably one of the best cigars. I'd say it is the best cigar we've made. It's a whole different level of quality for us. I'm pretty certain, and Danny has smoked. He's tried. I got to get you one. And he tried it when it was only 3 weeks old, and he was like, "John, this thing's got for 3 weeks old. You're onto something here, And he said the aroma. He said the smell aroma. He said out of 5, that's a 5. That's 5 out of 5.
Yeah, Danny's really big on a room note.
You know what killed me with Danny? But here, I mean, I've got so much respect for this guy. I mean, as I've gotten to know him,
I love him.
What killed me about him? He's. I give it to him. He pulls it out of the plastic. He starts la promesa, the promise, and so Danny's smelling it, and it's not lit. He's going, and then he lights it, and he looks at me. He says, "The wrapper." He goes, "That's Habano 2000." I'm like, "How the fuck did you know it's Habano 2000? I've never used Habano 2000. How'd you know?" So okay. So he looks at me. He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "For sure." He goes, "The binder, that's Sumatra." I'm like, "You're killing me. You're killing me." He nailed the wrapper. He nails the binder. He knew what it was before he even lit it. He was just confirming he lit it. And then the fillers, obviously, it's Nicaraguan. And the reason why we switched the binder to the Sumatra is because I wasn't getting enough of that Nicaraguan, that earthy licorice taste, that dark licorice. There's something about that Nicaraguan flavor that just I love. Natalie, same thing. It's just intoxicating. So the promise will be out. The box is absolutely beautiful. And the promise, it has some different meanings. One which will be revealed probably the next few months. The promise that for our company is really it's all about our commitment to you, to the market, and a promise is to continue to grow and to improve and make something that's better, and higher quality. So we're going to create a whole separate class of cigars that this will go into from this factory, which will be our sacred class, which Sagrado be sacred. So it's doubly good if it's sacred, right? So this will be that sacred class. Double sacred. I double sacred
probation. Yeah. Well, just going back to Danny really quick. For those of you that don't know who Danny is, Danny Ravanelli runs 505 Cigar Review. Danny's probably got one of the best palates of any of the reviewers that I have remotely seen. This guy has taught me so much. And I'm actually not surprised that he guessed everything. Like if anybody watching the show is remotely into boutiques, smaller brands, newer brands, lesser known brands than the big ones, everyone knows who the big ones are: Rocky, Perdomo, Fuente, Padron. You have to check out 505 Cigar Review.
Yeah.
My reviews that I used to do, they're good, but Danny's palate is above and beyond. Like I said, I think he's one of the most advanced palates in the cigar reviewers.
So, Ryan. So, you remember I was on his show with you in the beginning, and he was talking about all the different notes and everything. Just like, I can't remember you know, uh, I can't remember gingerbread and just all these different things he was saying. And I'm thinking, oh, another one of these, guys, And I didn't know him that well, a nice guy, like Danny, but I thought, okay, here we go, how you taste all that shit. And so as I've gotten to know him, I've gotten to know his story, and then I saw him call this cigar out. I'm like, he's the fucking real deal. I can't believe it. The guy, he's so humble. He's humble. He's not outspoken, but he's like no bullshit. He had his top 10 cigars, and I would love to have been his top 10. We didn't make his top 10 this past year, and I'm hoping we do with our new one. But the thing is, but I also know that we're new, and those other guys have been doing it for a lot longer. They deserved it. They earned the respect from Danny, and it just takes time. So I respect that with Danny, that just because you're his friend, just because you might sponsor, he's not gonna race you top 10. He's real.
No, Danny, it's honestly, I started picking up sponsors and I stopped. That was one of the reasons why I stopped doing reviews, because I never wanted anyone to question my integrity if I did a review of your cigar or a Micallef or a Dunbarton or so on and so forth. So it was just this time for me. Danny doesn't play games. He doesn't care. And I have literally watched him tell people your cigar sucks.
Yeah.
He doesn't matter to him who you are. It's literally the epitome of it's business, man. It's not personal. Like, you're asking people for money. I'm going to give you my honest opinion, and your cigars have done very well with him. But I will have to say, I think one of your biggest lands as an influencer, obviously, I hate the term influencer, but as a cigar celebrity, no, not me. As much as I wish it was me, it's not, right? Brad over at Zeal. When Brad called me and he goes, do you know somebody named John Stewart from Colorado? And I'm like, oh yeah, dude, he's one of my best friends. Yeah, of course I know him. Yeah, absolutely. Like, he is a huge platform, and he has sung your praises out so much. And I love the fact that you're doing 3 events in Arizona now. Like, you're doing it right, man. You're not trying to do this conquer the world bullshit. You're fighting the war, or you're fighting little fights, and you're winning. And then you're going forward. Like, this is what, honestly, in my opinion, watching a salesman run a company versus watching somebody that doesn't have that background run a company, because the realism is there. Okay, I can only do this. I know I can't sell myself thin. I need to do X amount of stores. I'm not trying to saturate. I'm trying to conquer areas. So you're doing amazing in Arizona. You have Natalie going to Atlanta. So where are your other pockets? And do you have a store locator? Again, the official store on this show for Sagrado is Zeal Cigars. Until I can talk Abe into picking him up, Zeal Cigars is where you can find Sagrado. But what are your pockets of concentration?
Yes, I mean, obviously Colorado's where we cut our teeth. We've had some good success up in Casper, Wyoming, with 2 stores, and the Casper Cigar Company and Wyoming Cigar Company, and then with Premium Ash, or Ash Premium, a little bit smaller store, but good dudes, and so we've a couple stores up there. We've got presence up in Idaho, Alaska. We're we got great support. Fifth Avenue Cigars, love these guys. They're family up there, and
Love Fifth
Natalie's been up there
Avenue.
with me. These, if you ever get to Alaska, you gotta go see these guys. I mean, I
I
tell
would
you,
love to.
they own a knife store, which is like that's their bread and butter. Is this knife store, and they have a new lounge in the basement now that finally is all approved and going. Uh, I guess I just when I'm there, I feel like I'm with my family. They're like my Alaska family, and Natalie feels the same. So we're gonna be going back up there and spend some time with these dudes this summer. Probably go fishing and stuff, hanging out. Um, Absolutely love it. Rat Pack up in Fairbanks. Jeff Masters up there, great dude. Also, he got our coffee. He's opened up a coffee shop, and he brought Sagrado coffee in. It's pairing with the cigars. We're gonna do a cut light with him too. Brown Jug. It's a liquor store chain. They got humidors, and so we got to there. That was Natalie that did that for last year's PCA. And then North Carolina, we got some stuff going out North Carolina. And so Natalie, basically, her focus is going to be more the Southeast. I think she finds that's her jam over there. So I said, just run with it. I've got some stuff that I'm working in New Jersey right now. I get up to New Jersey. I can usually connect there on the way to DR. So why not? We've got a decent cigar market there. We've got a couple places in Illinois, but we definitely need to expand that. There's a lot of opportunity there. We got a place open up in Nebraska. And I know we got some more stuff planned in KC area. For me, a lot of my focus, I'll be spending this year a lot of time in Arizona, Texas, and we're going to be we're looking at California because I'm from there. There's over 500 lounges in that state. They have a ridiculous requirement, which all we have to do is hit the send button and send the money. It's a $1,200 deposit, or you have to pay it, and then $1,200 per year, I think it is, and $1,000 deposit. So $2,200 for the privilege of doing business in the Republic of California, where I'm from. It's like, really? No one else does that. No one else does that. So so we're not ready in one at a time. So we're not ready for that yet, but we've got some, we've got plenty between the stores I mentioned and the areas of the states I mentioned, and then Canada. We've got some things going. We have a great broker up there we work with, Kent and Berger with Canadian Craft Cigars. If you are up in Canada, if you want to go up there and find our stuff, you hit up on the website, Canadian Craft Cigars. Good guys, love these guys. They're no bullshit to the real deal. Love working. Kent's pretty dry, he's more like the operations guy. Barry's the sales guy, and it's a lot of fun, So Natalie, she's the one that put the whole thing together. We have actually a couple cigar events going on in Canada coming up here not too long, next few weeks. And we have a Thomas Hines. You go up to Winnipeg, Thomas Hines. Holy shit, that's a nice place. It's fun up there, and Rob, love these guys. Again, that's another home away from home. That's done a great job. We're getting, Manitoba Club. That's another place that we're planning to do an event. That's in Winnipeg area as well. But I think in Canada, we're going to be hitting pretty hard. Toronto is the bulk of the stores. Calgary, Edmonton, and Vancouver. Outside that, we got into Nova Scotia recently last week. So there's only a couple of stores in Nova Scotia. So we're Nova Scotia. Woo! It's I want us to get to Newfoundland because I want Natalie and I talk about because they have this whole tradition in Newfoundland. If you don't know about the Newfies, they're kind of like they look at the Newfies kind of like how we make fun of people in the South. Sometimes it's like they're all related, blah blah blah, type thing, like the rivalries of the states, right? And so that's kind of like how the Newfies are over there. And great people though, great people. They have a thick accent, very thick accent. A lot of Scots and Irish over there, and so I've been there to St. John's. They have this whole thing called getting screeched in. So you go into the bar, you're drinking, and the screeching in, it means you're a virgin. You never been screeched, and so screech is their shitty rum that they make. It's horrible rum. Okay, And so you have to say the poem, have a poem that's like a song. You have to say it, and then you drink the rum, and then you got to kiss this cod, this fish, So
It's like the Blarney Stone.
yeah, so we got to get Natalie there screeched in. I've been screeched in already. I'm not a virgin up there.
Well, dude, you are living an incredible life right now, man. Things are looking up, John, and I am looking so forward to see what 2024 brings. Now, I want to kind of shift here because I don't want we would be remiss without talking about your coffee. Now,
Yeah.
I have said this to John. I don't know if this could legally be done, but I think John either maybe should include in every box of cigars a little card that gives the perfect pairing of coffee for that cigar. I don't think he could legally put the best cigar to pair with the coffee on the bag of coffee, because that might fall into some FDA, whatever the fuck regulations. Screw them, anyways. But what do you guys think? Do you think if you bought a box of cigars and you had a little card that the company that you bought the cigars with also makes coffee, would you guys watching right now comment in? Would that be something that you would like to see in a box if that company also made coffee? But while they're answering, if they answer, John, tell us about your coffee line. Where can we find your coffee? And go ahead and give us just a few pairings.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So first of all, our website is Sagrado Coffee, Sagrado coffee.shop. So Sagrado, and it's an e-commerce site, so you can buy straight from our e-commerce, and we roast it in a roaster. It's a small boutique roaster that we found out of Bourbon, Illinois, and phenomenal. And they've got this heart where they do a lot for the community, like in Chicago. They help the homeless. We're not talking about they just give money, and they're out there. They roll up their sleeves and they're working. They're giving food. They're out in the streets. They're helping and stuff like that. I mean, they're doing a mission, and I love that. So it's called Connect Roasters. That's our roaster. Good dudes. And so that's who we chose to partner with on our main roasting. And so the first two single origin coffees, we have a coffee both from Dominican Republic. I've been to both plantations. One's Spirit Mountain, the other's Ramirez. Spirit Mountain's a really boutique, small, grower, and they usually run out of coffee, like June, July time frame. You have to wait till, December till the harvest begins again to, get more coffee. Bless you. So that's our Spirit Mountain coffee. That was our top producing cigar last year. It's phenomenal.
Best coffee I've ever had. Absolutely. That's the one with the berry on it, right? No.
No, that's a different one. So
the Spirit Mountain's the sampler you gave me.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. That was amazing as well.
So, but Spirit Mountain does definitely have fruity notes to it. It's a delicious, single origin, not a blend. And the other one we've got Ramirez, which is called Dominican Organic, but they're both organic, both of them organic. They both, again, they have a mission of what they do for their workers, for the community, how they give to the schools. I mean, we look at stuff like that. That's like a big check in our box of what we're looking to do, is to be able to help more of the world, be a better place. And so those are two wonderful. If you're not familiar with our coffees, that's a great place to start with those two. And then we've got a dark roast. We've got, if you're a dark roast person, phenomenal dark roast. And we've got, and that one's, I believe, our Guatemalan. I have a Honduran light roast, also delicious. At the farmers markets, we're killing it with that light roast as well. It's very good. I've got a decaf. So anybody that can't handle the caffeine, and wants something that has little or nothing on the caffeine side, that's a Colombian, and it's delicious. It's decaffeinated with the sugar process, not chemicals. It comes from us, or comes from Colombia that way, decaffeinated. It's delicious. So those are some that we have a collaboration with a partner of ours out of Arizona, and so we've got some of his coffees that we brought in. It's limited time. We'll be probably out of these that coffee by the end of the year, and then we have a honey roast. So what we talk about the honey roast. Anyone who doesn't know what a honey roast process is, there's no honey in it. It's just a name. If you've eaten a coffee berry before you get to the seed, it's sweet. They call it a cherry out there, so it's a cherry. It's delicious, but you get the caffeine. So I've been on those like walks out there. I'm picking the beans, I'm eating them because they're so damn good, But then you start getting a rush from the caffeine, from it. But so what the honey process is, red honey process, they leave it on. So they have these raised African beds for drying the coffee beans. They usually strip the meat, the pulp off the cherry. In this case, the red honey process, they leave it on. It dries on there. And then it gets roasted with it on there. And the effect is you get this natural fruitiness that is in the seed and in the flavor, the aroma. It's great. I've got that for sale. We've been saying at the farmers market, we just started doing that. And that was like one of our top sellers like a couple of weeks ago in Fort Collins, Colorado.
It's unreal. It's unreal.
And
I just got to say real quick, Judd, I just got to give you props. I've never had I am black. I strictly drink my coffee black. I have never put sugar. I've never put cream in my coffee. Yes, I've been to Starbucks and gotten a Frappuccino. Okay, fine. That coffee where they left the berry on literally tastes like sweet coffee with being black. Like without adding a thing to it.
Yeah.
It has the most unique coffee flavor that I have ever had, hands down.
Amazing.
And in fact, people actually would, because you gave me enough to make 2 pots. And I shared it with some of our friends, and they looked at me, they're like, did you add sugar to this? Like, no, like it's just that good. Yeah. So when people are buying your coffee, what are some of the pairings that you like with your cigars and coffee?
Yeah, that's a fair question. So, I'd say like the Spirit Mountain one. I dig that one with our, like the natural. I've got the, Habano, which is La Chispa. I dig it with that one. And I think it holds up. It holds up okay with the San Andres Maduro that we got as well. I'd say with our other Sumatras and so on, I tend to lean more towards our little bit that red honey, the red honey one that we've got that we're doing. God, it goes great with it. The light roast, I'd say that goes with our Connecticut pretty good. The dark roast definitely goes with our San Andres Maduro. The espresso, we have an espresso, and by the way, it's not bitter. I mean, the Starbucks that I grew up with, and I thought that good coffee was bitter. Oh, hell no.
Starbucks coffee's trash.
If it's bitter, it means they don't know how to cook it.
Yeah, Starbucks ritually burns their coffee, in my opinion. The only good Starbucks coffee I've ever bought is the Costco Starbucks coffee that they make.
So if you're looking for, I'm sorry.
I said that's it. That's the only good Starbucks coffee. They roast it. It's not their name. They just roast it.
So we put up pairings together. We made some shelf talkers for Rat Pack. Those are about done. Get ready to go their way for their store. That we put some pairings, some recommendations on the different bags. If you want to, direct message, me or to cigar.nerd at Miss Natalie Sims. She can supply that information. We also have pairings. We have a pairing sheet where she can email our recommendations. I drink, Scotch whiskey. I drink bourbon. I drink Rob. I drink everything as long as it's good. Tequila, like it's good tequila. Yeah, but I'll tell you what. It's like you talk about pairings. Natalie was kind of cool. She likes orange juice every morning. She likes orange juice, and so she had a Lilith and smoke and drinking orange juice, and she was like, "Holy shit, this is good." which makes sense. I mean, it's that citrus, and that sweetness, and it goes great with our Lilith, Anatoly, anything Sumatra. I've got pairings on it like Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay that's not fermented in oak, it's fermented in stainless steel. So I got pairings based on my taste experiences. Doesn't mean it's right. That's just what I think goes well with it. But we have recommendations. If you want to ever know, we can send that out to you. And if anyone else that's on has tried some different things, different whiskeys, whatnot, and you say this is like the best pairing, send it our way. We'll add it in. We'll try it.
So the one thing I will say, guys, if you are smoking a Sagrado, to John's point, and you come up with a fun creation to smoke it with, reach out. John will try it, and if it works, he'll post it, or he'll just post it and say, hey, somebody likes it. John is very interactive. He's not somebody that's standoffish. He's not a shy person by any means. Reach out to him, please. He will answer questions. He will make suggestions. He will make pairing suggestions. If you have a scotch, hey, what do you think this? John's got a very vast palette of liquor between, like I said, tequila, rum, whiskey, bourbon, scotch. He's traveled all over the world. He will absolutely make those suggestions and make sure that you guys can be happy with it. Is that wrong in me saying that?
No, I was just gonna say, duh. I'm an alcoholic, so yeah, I try to study everything.
But John, you are very worldly. You have traveled all over for your main job. I don't know how many countries you've been to, but it's a ton.
There's a lot to go.
Yeah, there's still a ton to go. But in doing these travels of yours, do you try to look for cigar lounges and try to, obviously maybe not sell anything, but just try to understand what the local cigar region is?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like Europe, a lot of it's Cuban. I mean, it's Canada is predominantly Cuban, but that's changing. It's been moving to Dominican, Nicaraguan, just because the taxation and the cost, the pricing that has gone up because the Chinese, what they've done to that market and so on.
Yeah.
Cubans are they're not worth it. They're just the price you pay for a Cuban. It's not worth it. And a lot of these guys that were the great master blenders and so on, they left. A lot of these guys are in Nicaragua, they're in Honduras, they're in Panama, they're in Dominican Republic. They're a lot of them are gone. If they could get out, they do, because it's not good. The situation. I got Cuban friends, and anyone that knows anything about Cuba right now, it's a nightmare.
Yeah. I've actually the very first interview of the show I ever did was with George Rico from Gran Habano, and I asked him this question, and it was a serious question, and he actually agreed with it. The only good thing to ever remotely, if you're going to see a silver lining with what Castro did to Cuba, was cigars, because him taking over and forcing the families out opened up Nicaragua, Honduras, Puerto Rico, Dominican, and now look in the long run. What Castro did started the demise of the Cuban cigar industry, and now you have Canada, and even over in Europe, you're seeing more of the quote unquote new world cigars because of the expense of it. There's significantly less, especially when you go to Canada. I've been told cigars are super expensive, just like over in England, and $10 less for a cigar is quite the savings.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
It's 130% taxation up there, and then the provincial tax varies. The worst one is Ontario. That ironically that the most cigar stores are in Toronto. It's mostly illegal to smoke in a store. There's exceptions like Thomas Hines, Q Lounge, which Natalie and I look forward to getting to up in Edmonton. That you can have a steak, you can have a whiskey with you, you can smoke a cigar at your dinner table, all in the Q Lounge. So you get to Edmonton, you got to go to Q Lounge. That place is, amazing. The people are super cool that own it. It's a group of people, but yeah, I mean, it's very restrictive. And then if you want to go buy cigars by law, you have to be walked in the back of the humidor with the attendant. You can't be there by yourself because you can't be trusted. You know Big Brother says that you're not responsible enough, right? So yeah,
Always.
you have to have that, and then like our cigars are up there. Our beautiful bands that we have these in rings on the Sagrados. They all have this cover. They have a cover on them, and the cover is this ugly, green cover, and it's got Sagrado Cigars, what it is, like a Maduro, the name, Charismatico, and then the size of it, Toro, um, that's it, it's a crime. It's like you think about 1984, the movie, the George Orwell book, where everyone
Yes, I was
like,
literally just thinking the same thing.
yeah, that's that's it's damn near like communism. Just like, what the hell are you guys doing? You know,
The crazy thing is Orwell was a huge communist himself, so it took a massive communist to expose the tragedies of communism.
yeah. It's a
But no,
it's a
you're right.
shame
You're right.
because I'll tell you, Canada is a beautiful country.
God, it's
You know,
gorgeous.
and there's so many amazing people up in Canada. Of course, no one is near as amazing as Natalie, but there's a lot of amazing people up there, and I've made some good friends, and they're, like I say, good people. Love the Canadians, and it's just a shame they fight their fight, we fight our fight. They're fighting one way, we're fighting another way down here, but we're both fighting a fight. We're both fighting for getting in the middle. Like, there's a lot of people up there fighting politically, like, they don't want to be too far to the left. We're saying we don't want to be too far to the right. We don't want to, we want to be in the middle. They're doing the same thing. So they're fighting the same fight we're fighting, but from a different, polar opposite as us.
I agree. I think ultimately, human nature is to fight to be just left the fuck alone.
Yeah.
And I
In,
think,
in the
I
middle.
think, exactly. I think ultimately it's like, just leave us alone. Just leave us alone. And I have really noticed that in Colorado. You get up into the mountains in Colorado, people are literally like, just leave me alone. Just you go do you, I'll do me. I don't care.
Yeah.
You do,
Yeah.
but I think that's human nature. Is just, we understand we need guidelines, but just leave me alone as much as you can. Um and I completely agree with that. I mean, I just leave us alone. I
Yeah.
want to ask you about, are you up to date with the new Colorado taxation guidelines that was just passed, started February?
Yeah.
So it
So,
goes up to 62%.
yeah, I think it's 56 this year. 56 this year. Then I think it goes
Yeah,
up to,
62 in 3 years.
yeah. And so something that we're doing in Colorado is, we've been registering our OTPs, all the states, which is good business practice, Uh, so we're registered officially in Colorado, and so one of the benefits that we've offered to our stores in Colorado is that we can start paying the taxes. That's going to keep our prices down in the stores. So if you're in Colorado, you're looking for Sagrado, cigars, you'll see when these stores, that you see on our website are buying from us, that they have the option now to have us pay the tax, which you're going to save a buck, $2 in the store versus
That's
what you were
good.
paying before.
And that's very generous for the company, because that is literally cutting into profits.
Yeah, there's no value added.
No, and so did you see too, Tom Sullivan, a Democrat, granted in Highlands Ranch area, which is where a lot of the cigar lounges are. Did you see that he just proposed a bill, SR 24102, that
Yeah, what's that one?
caps premium cigar taxes to 20%,
Like what Idaho did.
period. So
Yeah,
it drops the 56 this year, and then the online thing now, if you ship into the state, you have to pay online taxes for the state. So essentially negating a cheaper online purchase.
yeah,
That's just if that online carrier respects the state enough to even do that. But yes, I think this would be something that we in Colorado as a cigar society need to latch on to. His name is Tom Sullivan. He's a Democrat representative over Highlands Ranch area, and it is going through the process right now. No sponsor. So if you're in Colorado, call Tom Sullivan's office, push this bill, call your local rep, push this
Thank you for
bill,
that.
get some sponsors, because Colorado is trying to bleed the premium cigar industry and treat the premium cigar industry like it is a cigarette company. And we
Yeah.
all know that is absolutely not the case. Only thing in these cigars is premium long filler. There's nothing else. So I definitely, please look into that. I think that would be something that would be worthwhile for everybody in Colorado to support.
Thanks for sharing that. I will definitely reach out to them and give my vote for sure.
Yeah, it is. I have it written down. Let me find it here. It is SB State Bill or all right. I move every time I move my microphone for some reason the wire kinks and it cuts. So it is SB 24 102, and it will cap premium cigar taxes at 20%.
That's needed. We need it.
Big time, because you take what's the Lilith MSRP versus what's the Lilith in Colorado, or
Yeah.
you're
So yeah, I mean, the little thing Colorado goes for like $9, roughly.
What would that go for Texas though?
Probably Texas is going to go for probably about $6.50, $7.
That's a big difference. That's
Yeah.
literally every 3 cigars you wasted a cigar.
Yeah.
You know, so share really quickly here in the last bit, because this is something that you've learned over the last 3 years, is the taxation and really how taxation affects your pricing, because you do have to take that into account. What is, I want to charge $10 for this cigar. Charging $10 might mean $15 in this state, might mean $8 or $9 in this state, whatever. How do you, as a young company learning the ropes, calculate in and take that into consideration for your pricing?
Yeah. I mean, we look at that, and it really depends on what the appetite is in that area. Like in Alaska, it's like Canada. It's in Anchorage, it's 120% tax. 120, and it blows my mind that Alaska would have a tax like that. Um, and so we look at that, and the thing is that the customers are kind of used. They're used. They're how do I say, they're conditioned to that type of
Good
pricing.
word. Good word.
And it's a shame. The government wins when people get conditioned to paying
Yes.
more than they should.
Yes.
Um, and so for us, like for example, we have these more expensive premiums and so on as an unknown brand, a new brand in the market, because again, we know our place, we know where we're at, it's a new company. We might have to, cut aggressively a little extra pricing just to help it take off up in that area, in that market, which it hits our bottom line, because
Government always gets their money regardless.
yeah, yeah. So it's tough. It's the thing that the hard part is really is coming in from Dominican to here, the way the FDA runs, and that needs to be changed. Okay, like my little faith though, it's God, it's a 6-inch by 38.
Yeah,
Tiny
it'd
cigar.
have to be 38.
Yeah, 38. And I pay the same tax, 40 cents on every one of those that I do on a Zeal, $8. Yeah, Arizona's got some low taxes. Yeah. Yeah, they got low tax in Arizona.
Brad's also not a price gouger.
No. No. He's got some really good pricing, I think he shakes up the market a little bit.
Yo, for sure, for sure, for sure,
Yeah, but
absolutely.
yeah, that's good. But he gets it out there. He does a really good job, and love the guy. The promotion. He's been a good friend, just like you know, Ryan, just supportive. Um, but yeah, it's a good question. Our biggest challenge, I mean, our biggest challenge really isn't so much the taxes because it's a level playing field with everybody. You know, um, and when we see cigars, they're like really cheap. In the States, like we'll see, you know, stuff that's like $3, $4, $5. As a brand owner, you know what it is. It's short fill. It's not aged. It's probably 2-year old tobacco, whatever. Typically, you know, that's the only way you get down there is and again, it doesn't mean that it's a shit cigar. It just means it's not as good as the other cigars. We have a new Fuma that we've got. They'll be released, and that'll be end up being in the stores probably about, I don't know, $4. You know, in that range. 5 years tobacco, short fill, hybrid, leftovers, in the new factory, and we got those in stock right now. We got another 5,000 of those. We'll have available in you know, July. Those will be aged as well. You look at the cigar, it does look like a short fill, but yeah, it's the taxes are the taxes, but they're out of control. The FDA needs to, maybe look at things on weight or size or whatever, and not every cigar gets 40 cents. That's bullshit. You
The
know?
FDA needs to just shut the fuck up and
Yeah,
let people just live their lives and allow people to drink, smoke, and be merry and be happy and stop this syntax bullshit that this
yeah,
government does. All right, I'm off my soapbox.
and I
John
agree.
Lovell. John Lovell has a question here. Do you think that, albeit a good thing to diversify, that the price increases we are seeing in the US is to do with the European market opening up to the New World blends?
Hmm. I,
I never thought
I,
about
I,
that. It's a
I,
good
I, I
question, John.
so that'd be interesting to talk about, because in my mind, more production of product means more tobacco is being purchased, which I'm looking at things from economic standpoint, supply and demand. The more supply you're driving at, the cost goes down. Just like we look at like acids, from Drew Estates, and Swisher, same company. But if those guys go away, that means there's less tobacco being purchased, there's less tobacco being grown, then there's less tobacco available, which means hence that the price goes up because there's less availability. They charge more. So I think the rise of the boutiques is a good thing, and actually should reduce pricing, um, just by natural supply and demand, logic. Um, Government's not logic, but economics, that's a logical statement from that standpoint. Um, but I think the issue we have to worry about is, how do we support the business to grow? Because as we grow, then the prices go down, more volume. It's all scale. And so if the government were to relax these taxes, we could sell more cigars, so we could reduce pricing and, you know, grow the market and actually ultimately give more taxes to the government by having more people employed, and they'll have a higher volume of those taxes. So I think overall, taxes, just like tariffs, they have to be tariffs you should never have. I think tariffs are a bad
Mm-hmm.
thing. You know, Free trade is what it's all
Yes.
about.
Yes.
But taxes. I'm not against taxes because you got to pay for streets, you got to pay for cops and firemen, all that type of stuff. But taxes are out of control. They're out of control,
In the
and
cigar world, they're very much out of control. And they're
yeah,
out
they're
of
out of control.
control because the vitriol is placed on tobacco versus the vitriolic attitude being placed on cigarettes. And I think this is a perfect example. By the way, there's a Supreme Court case going through right now to talk about having regulators who are unelected actually being able to interpret the laws, which makes John's job hard because every new FDA commissioner reinterprets the law, rewrites the law, and changes the definition of that law, or not the law, but of the regulation. That is a
Right.
huge business inconsistency issue for somebody like John. So right now, going through the Supreme Court is a case where it will actually break down Chevron deference. For those of you that don't know what Chevron deference is, essentially in very simplistic terms, is it gives deference to the regulatory authority of interpretation of the law that Congress wrote. So Congress writes a bullshit law that's overall encompassing. The regulatory authority then interprets that law and creates regulations around it. What needs
I'll
to
add to
happen?
that. So Ryan,
Go ahead.
I mean, just and I'll jump off my soapbox.
Go,
I took a lot of
please.
economics in college. And the taxes further it disadvantages the boutiques because we don't have the same scale and ability as these larger Fuentes and so on, these bigger, tobacco companies have been on for a long time. And so as a small company, for us to be able to compete at we'd have the same margins as these other big companies. And so it makes it harder for us to grow, so ultimately, all the new innovation that comes out, just like in tech, like these incubator companies and so on that come out, they have all these new tech ideas.
I agree,
Same
Dan.
thing, like here, you got new ideas like us, like we don't know, we're experimenting, we're trying things that people have never done because we don't have this bias of doing this for 100 years. We're unbiased for coming in and we're like this crazy cook in the kitchen just having fun, and it's hard to grow and scale when we're weighted down and we don't have that same scalability at this point in our business size as these other companies been around for 100 years. So if they want to support capitalism and small companies and so on, which most business in America is a small company, then they
Yes.
need to reduce those taxes so they help us
Yeah.
to be able to grow and to help this economy, help our GDP.
Absolutely. And in fact, when bigger companies are okay with a tax, I have more of a problem with it because that means they're pulling the ladder up behind them because they can afford it. So
Right.
I want to touch on John's question. So John, I think the best answer to your question is that the European markets opening up would not necessarily raise prices in the US or in general on the New World cigars. Theoretically, the more New World cigars that are being purchased, that means the more produced, which overall should bring the prices down. Where the issue that we're having is any sort of price break you potentially get is absorbed and eaten up by the government, whether that be state, local, or anything. I promise everybody right now, John, tell me if I'm remotely wrong. If there was a national, every cigar is 50% off for the next 24 months, you would have the governments of all states and federal put a 24-month increased tax on premium cigars just to make up the difference because they want it. That's all it is. And that's really as simple as it is. The reason why these things are expensive or going up is not because necessarily the manufacturers are raising their prices. Trust me, John would love to have as least expensive cigar as humanly possible. But with all the regulations and burdens put on with importing and shipping, and shipping's not even that bad. But with importing could be a lot of money to bring something in, a lot of regulation, a lot of paperwork, a lot of time. That's what most people don't see in a business when they look at somebody like John and go, "You party all day." Yes, he parties at night when he can, but 90% of his day is dealing with bullshit regulations and how to get things passed and approved and brought into this country for all of us to smoke and enjoy. Would you say that that's a fair statement?
Yeah. Yeah. It's the expense is disproportional of what all the consumers are paying on tax. The tax you're paying, on every cigar that comes into this country from, Nicaragua or Dominican or wherever, uh, you're paying so much of it in tax. It's like gasoline. Gasoline is not expensive until you lay that freaking tax on it.
Yep.
Um,
Cigarettes
coffee.
aren't either.
Yeah, coffee. It's like, coffee. You look at what the workers get out there versus what you have to sell for out here. It's like that because of all the cost and so on. It's you're not benefiting, so much. Taxes, like I say, taxes have we have to have taxes, but not like this. This is abuse. This is an abuse to the consumer.
Well, it's a sin tax. It's a tax placed on by government, whether it be state, local, federal, doesn't matter, to curb a lifestyle, to make that lifestyle more expensive to afford, harder to afford, therefore pushing the ability for people to enjoy that lifestyle less. And it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. In every way. And people, small businesses like John, I promise you, feel those taxation issues more than the bigger companies that can absorb it. Is that a fair statement?
100%. 100%. I mean, my cost to produce a cigar compared to the big, legacy companies, it's probably 3 or 4 times, their cost.
It's hard.
And so we know what the market is. We can't sell cigars, unless we're at a certain, price point. Like there's a sweet spot in each market, and we know where we have to be in each market. And the big boys, it's like they got plenty of margin. It's like it's fine, but with us, it's like okay, it really eats away at us. And so, when you're seeing us at the same pricing or as the big guys, just realize that our margins are not the same as theirs. They're making still a shitload of money. We're making a lot less profit than they are.
And this is why it is so important to support small brands that are worth supporting, like Sagrado and many others out there. Stuff like John, and I say this all the time. I attribute the differences between boutique and the legacy brands is the same as college versus pro sports. College sports, like boutique brands like John, seem to have more heart in it. There's more love in it because they are fighting for everything that they are selling. The bigger brands, some of these big legacy brands don't have sales teams. They literally supply orders by email. Like there's no heart in it. I think the boutique brands and Danny Ravanelli opened my eyes up to this dramatically. The boutique brands like John have more to prove. They work harder. They satisfy more because they're not going to go, well, buy another one. John's going to go, why? Trust me. I have texted John at like 10 o'clock at night and been like, something's wrong with this. Send me a picture of it. Cut it in half. Open it up. Pull out whatever you need to. Send me the picture. That he's on the phone going, we can't have this happen again. That is what separates boutique from legacy. Legacy goes, boutiques like, how can I fix it? Is that a fair sentiment?
Absolutely. We care, we guarantee our product. And if you're not happy with our product, I mean, we'll make it right with you. We don't ask questions. We don't argue with you, debate you, and tell you don't know how to cut, you don't know how to light. We're not going to disrespect you. We're going to, fix the problem and resolve it.
So why is Sagrado so customer centric? And we'll end the show here with this. Why is Sagrado so customer centric as you are?
Because our customers are what matter. Our whole company is based on the simple principle of our mission. Our mission statement is this: very simple: designing high quality products designed to be consumed slowly, savored, and shared with people that you love. and that's our mission. And if you have a bad sharing experience, if you don't want to savor it for construction reasons or whatnot, and you don't feel it's high quality, we have to know, because we have not met our mission. We failed you. And if we failed you, we want to know that we failed you so we can fix it.
So when people give you feedback that is taken legitimately to heart, whoever gives you feedback can feel confident that that will be taken and that feedback will be analyzed.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I mean, I freak out in the little things. Like Natalie will, and we don't have too many issues. I mean, everyone has,
No, you
something that
don't. You
happens,
don't.
but Natalie will tell me about the X, Y, and she'll say kind of Z. We'll say Z. She'll say Z. Um, but had something, had something that was wrong. This one guy that tasted one of the cigars, and and I'm kind of like, I need to see pictures. I need to know what's going on. And she's like, John, he's fine. He's fine. He's fine. I said, no, I'm gonna send him another cigar. I don't give a shit. I'm sending the guy another cigar. I said, it's not fine. That's our reputation. No, because again, we know we're not perfect, but shit, we're gonna make it right.
But you also understand that if somebody buys something one time, so again, being in sales 20 years, John has played at a much higher level than I ever have inside sales. Okay. John's at the enterprise level inside sales, the corporate, huge market level,
C-suite,
C-suite level. So for
C-suite level.
him,
Yeah.
he would you agree that you take the notion of somebody likes something, they probably won't say something to somebody else, but if somebody doesn't like something, they'll tell 10 people, and that's why you
Yeah.
take the care you do.
It's funny. I tell people in life, I've had in my life, like everybody that's lived long enough, you've had bad experiences in your life. And it's crazy because you always remember your bad experiences. You remember when you stuck your finger in a socket. You remember when you cut off part of your finger doing something stupid, or the stitches you got because did this or that. And you remember all that shit, but you remember good things too. But shit, man, those bad things, you remember those. You always remember the bad stuff first, and that's why we say, like, life is not perfect, but we'll make it right.
And that's what you get with a quality brand like Sagrado. You get the ability to know that when you spend $8, $10, $12, $15 on one of their cigars, you are going to enjoy it from the standpoint of it's going to smoke right. It is going to operate the way it should. And if it doesn't, you can actually let somebody know that's going to care that it didn't. And that's really what separates a a boutique brand that cares from a legacy brand that just says, go buy another one. Tough. I'm sorry. Because for John, every experience with his cigars is time taken out of your life that is valuable. And John wants to make sure that he's giving you the most valuable commodity that he can for you to enjoy the time you're taking out of your life for your experience. Is that fair?
Absolutely. I'd say our customers are the most important assets we got. Our customers and our reputation, and you know, we're, we're servants to our customers. We're here to serve our customers.
John takes the Scarface approach. I've got my balls and my integrity, and I don't break them for anyone. So, John, in ending the show here, what is your favorite pairing of liquor and your cigars to end the show tonight? What is your favorite rum, your tequila, anything you want to choose?
Oh, geez, it's crazy. I got a lot of ones I like, but I have to say, something I discovered probably about I was like 7 months ago. I was tasting, pairing up some different cigars with some different alcohols. I was in Utah, and I was bored. I thought, okay, I'm gonna get these different alcohols at the bar, and I'm gonna try my different cigars. And what I really enjoyed was Canadian blended whiskey, like Crown Royal. Um, and this stuff here, this Canadian club, it goes amazing. If you like Connecticut's, holy shit. I had Canadian club. I had Crown Royal was a bomb. It was a bomb with the Connecticut. That's if you like Connecticut's, get a Crown Royal. I did it neat. Most alcohol I drink neat. In Scotland, which I've been to many times, you drink it as it is. They say you order whiskey, ask how you want it. You want ice, or do you want it as it is? As it is. It's good. You drink it as it is. You taste it as it is. Just like the cigars pure. And that'd be my, like I say, the one for today. I'd say on the Connecticut, get some Crown Royal, drink it straight. Man, you heard the angels sing.
Fantastic. John, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. As always, love you, brother. And for those of you that would like to be in Colorado and see John, and would like to come to a huge event and meet John and Natalie. Natalie's the better half, but and meet John and Natalie. You could come by going to eventbrite.com and buying a ticket for Rocky Mountain Cigar Night. I don't know what cigar John's given us this year, but every single year, well, I say every year, the last 2 years have been fantastic cigars. I think the first year was the Charismatico, and last year I know for a fact was the Lilith. So this year we'll see what he is willing to donate for the event. He will be there. We've got so many fun things planned out. If you would like to buy some of John's cigars online, go to zealcigars.com. Brad's got the entire catalog, and huge shout out to all the sponsors of the show: BAMF Cigars, ROCF Cigars, Kristoff Cigars, Karen Berger Cigars, New Air Humidors, Micallef Cigars, Big Sky Cigars, Cornell and Diehl, Pipe Tobacco, La Aurora, West Tampa, and of course, Steve Saka over at Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. Big shout out to Abe DeBabna over at Smokin' for sponsoring the show. Sagrado, of course. We've been drinking tonight Axe in the Oak Rye, which went absolutely fantastic. So until we see you again, smoke what you like, smoke as often as you can, and have a great, great rest of your week. Bye, everyone. Peace.